Hey Nader, very nice to meet you again.
Hi, Fabian. Thank you. Same here. Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate you making time for this. Before we talk about all things automotive dealerships, customers, would you mind just kicking us off by briefly introducing yourself?
Sure thing, sure thing. I am currently working, well, first, my name is Nader, as you mentioned. I'm currently working with Seez as Director of Product Solutions and Integration. I've been with Seez for 7 years now. I initially started with them as Head of Design. I come from a full-on design background, but as our business model shifted and we started rolling out new products, I slowly shifted towards product side of things, and I found that I'm quite curious and interested in the tech side of things, and that's how with the birth of our most recent AI product, I kind of jumped into this role to handle everything that has to do with the solution and the integrations that we do for it.
No, fascinating. Thank you so much for the overview. To dive a little bit deeper into that, what are some of the products and or programs that you are currently working on?
Okay, currently the main focus for me is Caesar, which is our AI virtual assistant. It's a conversational chatbot for car dealerships based on LLMs. It's an LLM-based chatbot. Works with GPT and also supports a couple of more LLMs in case anyone wants to shift between those. We also have a lot of marketing performance products that are also AI and ML based, something we call Seez Boost. We also have Seez Nitro, which is a product that helps dealerships optimize their inventory and optimize kind of their lead qualification. We give scoring to people based on their activity on their website. We give scoring to the cars based on the performance on the website, kind of try to optimize their inventory. So what should they sell? If dynamic pricing, should you increase the price on this one, decrease the price on that one? We also offer an e-commerce solution for car dealerships, which is called Seez Click, and a back-end system for dealerships to manage their sales and their inventory, which is called CSPAD. All of these products kind of are linked within the back end, so a dealer can have all of them at once, and that would make kind of the outcome much greater for them because everything that comes in one end is used by all the other products to optimize those the outcomes of these products.
That's fascinating. You've already alluded to some of the key benefits, but to unpick this a little bit more and looking at the dealership on one side and then the end customer who actually buys and or uses the product on the other side, what are some of the benefits across these two customer groups?
So to us as Seez, we see our main customer is the dealership. But at the same time, we really aim to make the end user experience much better because we do know that I mean you're buying a car, you're not just shopping on Amazon and buying something cheap. So I would say from the dealer point of view, no one has ever hired a 24/7 customer support, right? We are providing an always on solution that will help your customers any time of the day, any day of the week, even on weekends. And we have seen in our analytics that a lot of the engagement happens on off working hours and off working days. And those usually are leads lost because no one wants to go on a website, you click that chat button and you say, oh, we're not live here, send a message and we'll get back to you later. That's somehow a lead lost in real time. At the same time, we offer them lead generation and lead qualification. I mean, for the dealer, you get 100 chats per day. We kind of qualify those chats for you. We know where every one of those leads sits in the funnel. Is this one gonna return a sale? Is this one gonna return a service? So we kind of combine these as leads. On the customer side of things, we are making the exploration phase much easier because sometimes you really don't know what you want to buy, but you know what you need, right? You need an SUV, you need a sports car, but you really don't know which one to get. So this is where the virtual assistant comes in handy. It can handle really complex queries. You just tell it, this is what I'm really looking for. Can you show me what fits what I can get from you? And the bot comes back to you with multiple suggestions based on your query. At the same time, what we focused on is to make this as humanly conversational as possible, meaning we know most of the conventional chat solutions are kind of decision trees. You click through them, you have to pick this choice, you can't free type, and it's always robotic. You know what answer you're gonna get, or oh wait, let me connect you to an agent. So the accessibility for the user the ease of use, the customer experience, and this kind of assistance that you get is of very high value to the customer.
From a UI and UX standpoint, just so that it's clear to everyone, where do customers engage with your agent?
So our agent is basically like most chatbots. We add a widget on the dealer website. It's just a button that shows up. You pick as the customer where that button shows up. It's a small chat window. You have the option to expand it full screen if you'd like to kind of have a kind of immersive experience to see the cars, big pictures, all of that. And at the same time, you can still browse the website and your conversation goes with you through the website. So it's engagement, and we're currently also developing our own API, so you can also engage with it over WhatsApp or over Messenger or over any different mediums. So your journey can kind of go with you wherever you go. You can start your conversation on the website, but then have to go. You continue that conversation over WhatsApp, and you're still within the same context.
Yeah, that's the magic that lots of people are looking into with one unique custom ID.
Exactly. It's a huge challenge.
Yeah, no, super interesting. From an integration standpoint, how do you make sure that this actually integrates into the relevant dealership systems and can access the relevant information, as far as you can talk about that, of course?
No, for sure. So that was one of kind of the biggest challenges that we faced because dealers use so many systems and one dealer can be using 10 different systems and none of them are connected. So data scattered all around. We aim to kind of go for the integrations that add the most value, meaning if we need the cars for sure, the bot has to be aware of the cars. We need to send leads, we need to integrate with their own CRM. And if they really want to optimize their after sales, we have to integrate with their DMS. So we try to take it step by step because integrations do take a long time. We also have offered a lot of solutions for many dealerships that don't really know what their API is, where their cars live, right? They probably use some web provider or some off-the-shelf solution where they just input their cars in the back end, but they don't really have an API where they can serve those cars. So we offer a solution that we built internally that automatically scrapes their cars off the website twice a day and feeds those cars to the bot. So the bot always has kind of up-to-date information on the cars. So in terms of integration, we mainly focus currently on DMSs and CRMs because these hold the most value in terms of client information and inventory information and gives you kind of a more holistic approach on the life cycle of the customer.
And then first of all, thanks, that's really interesting. From a player standpoint, have you focused, who do you mainly work with? Is it larger retailer groups?
So we work with large retail groups, we work with small dealerships, we work with other automotive tech companies that provide services but are lacking the AI side of things, that we kind of work with them to kind of offer a full-on solution to their customers. We have a lot of groups that have, so I can mention we're currently working with Emil Frey in Switzerland, and we're going to be expanding across Europe, where we're going to be kind of launching this chatbot to an OEM with around 280 showrooms across Switzerland. So we can work with OEMs as well as small to medium dealerships. The solution is kind of scalable to that extent.
Fascinating. How do you usually approach these partnerships? I know from sort of own experience that it's incredibly hard to sort of get a foot into the door with some of these retailer groups and then also, of course, manufacturers. Do you usually do a demo, then run a pilot with them in a small area and then scale it from there? Or how do you approach this relationship?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, we have a kick-ass sales team that they have amazing
You have to say that.
100%, no credit to them. But what you said is exactly what we do. So initially, if we want to enter a new market, especially if we're kind of tackling a new language, let's say, we look for someone to kind of do a POC with. We pinpoint a dealership. We create a demo website, which is hosted on our end. We get their information, we get their cars, we set up the bot, and we kind of send it over to them so they can play around with it, give their feedback, tell us what they think about it. And I would say 100% of the times that kind of converts into it becoming a live product. Definitely, there's always tweaking. There are lots of challenges that we get when we enter new markets. But initially, to kick off those kind of connections and partnerships, we always try to show them the value of the product before they kind of integrate it within their own live system. And through demos is what kind of we find was the best way possible.
That's fascinating. As far as you can talk about this again, what does the financial model for customers look like? Is this a license-based model, a usage-based model? How's the sort of pricing structured?
We have three tiers, which are kind of more of a number of cars and message based. So you don't want to charge a small dealership as much as you charge a large group or an OEM. So these three tiers, based on how many cars you have, you fit into them. You might tell me I might have this small amount of cars, but I want more messages because I have high traffic on the website. So that's we they either fall in one of these three tiers. And I mean, we feel proud of the namings we gave those three tiers. Basically, our product's called Caesar, and so the three tiers we offer are kind of Veni, Vidi, and Vici. So Veni being the smallest and Vici being the biggest one. So that's our pricing model for Caesar.
Really interesting. Of course, one of the challenges that loads of companies in the space face across the entire automotive value chain is around getting feedback from end users on the quality of output they receive. And of course, here it's especially critical that information's potential and or current customers receive is accurate. And of course, we've also seen some of the examples of, I think there was a BMW or Daimler example in Germany where they recommended a competitor's product. In the US, there was an example where they had to sell a vehicle for $1 or something.
100%, yeah.
So how do you approach that space?
So we actually, one of the starting points of us when we started building Caesar was we have to build something that will never fail the customer, in the sense that the dealer will never get in trouble for using this product, sorry, because we've seen all these examples. And I think the biggest issue is that there was kind of a big misconception about LLMs initially, about AI. When ChatGPT went out, everyone's like, I need this on my website. And everyone just paid an API subscription, they plugged it into their website, and they thought they had a chat solution. And that was kind of a recipe for disaster for them. What we have done is, first, we really focused on the security side of things, meaning LLMs are, in general, you can inject prompts into them, inject scripts, and that would make them change their behavior. It would make them talk to you differently. It would make them change their dialect. That was the initial kind of point for us to tackle, where no matter what you try to do, nothing will change in the way the bot talks to you. No matter what question you ask that is outside of the automotive industry or outside the context of the dealership, the bot will not answer you. It knows that its job is to serve you, give you a good customer experience, answer your questions based on the information it has. But we have faced initially the problem that all LLM products face, which is hallucination. LLMs tend to hallucinate. It feels like they don't like not knowing the answer for something, so they kind of come up with an answer sometimes. We've seen them hallucinate URLs for websites that don't exist, or hallucinate addresses that don't exist. It was a very big learning curve for us, where we got feedback. Sometimes it wasn't nice feedback. You don't always get good feedback. And you build on those errors and bugs, and you fix and you improve. And it's safe to say that right now we are no longer getting any type of feedback that has to do with wrong behavior from the LLM. We kind of closed down that aspect of things, and now we focus more on the features and the quality of the features of the bot.
Do you get active feedback from your customers after an engagement in terms of like a rating, or how do you approach that just operationally?
So there are two ways. There's the dealer feedback kind of things, which is handled through our communication channels. We share some channels with them where they give us feedback on the go. If they have a customer, if they have a chat they don't like how it gets answered or anything else. That is kind of day-to-day feedback that we work with and we fix on the spot, or plug in our roadmap if it needs to be kind of a feature release. But on the customer side of things, we also kind of built a kind of answer rating feature where you have a thumbs up, thumbs down for every answer you get. If you give us thumbs up, it's amazing. If you give us thumbs down, we give you a list of reasons. So we try and understand why you didn't like this answer. Was it inaccurate? Was the data out of date? Was it abusive? Was it anything? You can even add your own comment. And we kind of look at that data collectively and see where are we getting the most thumbs down and what's the top reason we're getting the thumbs down. And then we look at all those messages and kind of evaluate why this is happening, try to get to the kind of root cause of it and see if there's a fix for it. Because at the end of the day, you can control your LLM's response as much as you want, but you will never be able to control the user's perception of the response. Sometimes the response may be good, but wasn't the response that the user was looking for. But still, it's our job providing this to make sure that we always understand the context of the question and provide the answer that falls within that context. So it's a continuous kind of, I would say, of optimizing. You will never be 100% perfect, but you're always kind of getting a little bit closer to the top.
What does the sort of roadmap and vision in this space look like for you? Just from my perspective, I've done a little bit of work in the past on customer experience around recommendations of products, price optimization, availability information, optimizations of the three key attributes that customers care about when they buy a vehicle, around spec, price, and availability. Currently, as I understand, you very much surface and automate some of these processes that today happen manually with a delay. What is your vision for the space over these sort of next 3 to 5 years in terms of things you would like to unlock?
We always kind of sit down together in the office and imagine where we would want this to be, and sometimes we think we need 5 years, others say we need 10. But I think at the pace AI and LLM is moving, I think we're much closer than that. It's just about how much time you have to build the ideas that you have. The way we see it is it's going to be something that makes both the lives of dealers way easier and the lives of clients way easier. So imagine if you walk into a showroom, salesperson salutes you, gets your name, looks you up in the system. He knows you've already interacted with them on the website. You've already been with us, you chatted with our bot, and looks at your profile and sees you looked for an SUV on the website. Already knows what you want, already knows what you own because you were trying to get a valuation for your car. So he is informed, so he can easily approach you with a conversation that says, you know, that car that you own, we can give you this much for it, and we would have a great SUV for you to buy. I know you're looking for one. So you close that deal, and then this customer goes from being a CRM customer to becoming a DMS client. It's your own client. And once he's in the DMS, you carry all that information with him. Now you know which car he owned and which car he owns now. Imagine integrating AI through all of that, and AI becomes the sole responsible agent to make sure he follows up with this person on his service appointments. Whenever there's a new accessory for his car, something new came up, maybe it's a recall, the AI can handle it. Once that person, let's say the person did not come for a service 2 or 3 days late, you can have the AI reach out to him, follow up, and possibly give him 10% off of his next service. So you ensure that he's going to come back to you. 2 or 3 years later, the person's almost at the end of his lease. The bot knows that and knows what the financial capability of this person is. Goes ahead and says, we just brought in a new model that would be perfect for you, and it's right within your budget. And you give him an offer because he's a returning customer. He's your own customer. So you can go on and on and on and on about where AI can be plugged in, but we see it as this big entire ecosystem that is fully integrated to the point where you don't have to scatter to get information. Everything is there. With just searching by a customer name or phone number, you have the entire history, you know everything, and you don't even need resources to make sure this customer is well retained, because you have already an AI that's responsible for making sure this customer is happy, he's getting what he expects from your dealership. And you know that if this person is about to churn, you have an AI that understands that this person might need a financial boost to buy a next car. He provides definitely you're going to be the one who tells the AI what's the percentage of discount he can give, but the AI will be smart enough to know, okay, this person looks like he might be late to renew or doesn't look interested because he hasn't come to the dealership for more than a year. Maybe it's time to leverage our connection with this client, or give him a discount. Maybe that will pull him back in. So I think it's a beautiful vision, but it requires a lot of work, a lot of integration of systems that have probably never in their life spoken to each other. And that is where the biggest challenge comes, making sure the CRMs understand the DMSs, and the DMSs understand the financial providers, and the financial providers can talk to the DMSs and give them the day-to-day rates and give them insurance rates, and be able to provide them based on certain criteria, the age of the person, how long have they been driving. We know those rates change a lot day to day and based on the person. So if you are able to put all those systems together, I think you will have a beautiful ecosystem that would make dealers and dealerships extremely efficient in their work. And that's where we see all of this heading in the next 3 to 5 years.
No, sounds exciting. Much more personalized, many more value-adding features, leveraging much more data. Which leads me to my next question around tech partnerships. You mentioned initially that you also work with technology companies. What does this relationship look like as far as you can speak about it?
So I can say that currently we are partners of Keyloop, and in terms of that partnership, we are looking to leverage the data they offer, the data they hold in their DMSs systems, in order to be able to provide a much more optimized and much more beneficial service to their own customers and to the customers that use Keyloop systems, so that we take this first step towards the vision that we have. Because once you've integrated with the DMS, you hold the golden chest of data that if you feed to an AI that's well prompted, that knows what it needs to do, it can turn into a gold mine. Especially that DMS holds, I would say, 90% of the customer life cycle. From the moment he owns the car to the moment he sells the car or trades it in, all that data in between, the service hits. What was broken in the car, has he painted it, has he not painted, has he had an accident, how much he pays, all of that. That's what we're trying to, the technical partnerships that we do is we try to leverage, we know it's the age of data. We want to leverage that data into an optimized AI solution that would make use of all of that and turn it into a efficient, profitable solution for dealerships and a much simpler and customizable solution for clients, for end users, I'm sorry.
As a final question from my side, imagine that you're speaking to someone either working at a national sales company, at a large retailer group, or an automotive manufacturer who essentially does Gen AI work in the marketing and sales space. What would be your top 3 recommendations to unlock value from these Gen AI solutions, maybe specifically Gen AI bots in a sustainable way?
The value, okay, speaking of a Gen AI bot, as in like the virtual assistant, I think the power of the bot is in how much it knows. As long as you feed the bot consistent and continuously the data you want it to be aware of, and make it very clear for the bot what your goal is. Because we've seen goals differ across dealerships. Some dealerships just want to offer amazing customer experiences. Other dealerships only care about generating leads. I want a name and a phone number. I don't care about anything else. So there's a lot of value in Gen AI if it's well used. And if you integrate Gen AI within your dealership in the right way, you're unlocking value that you were missing just because you didn't have the resources, or just because you didn't have that accessibility to data. Because any person you can get an agent to answer people on your website, but that person will have to put you on hold to get the data, would have to ask you to wait, to recommend cars for you, would need to look into his own files to answer you on a question. So there's this very knowledgeable Gen AI assistant that accesses all that information in seconds, and we know we've dropped the answer time from 30-45 seconds down to 5 and 6 seconds, and that is 40 seconds won in your dealership's life and in the customer's life. And you're providing the correct data, you are gaining a customer, you are generating a lead. So the value, I don't think I can say it's just one value. There's a lot of value that is gained once you start working with the correct Gen AI for your dealership. I'm not gonna go back and say it, but plugging in an off-the-shelf LLM isn't gonna be the value you want. Isn't gonna bring you the value you want. It's gonna be more of a headache for you, because what we focused on in the last year was making sure that this solution is fully tailor-made for car dealerships and is fully tailor-made to get you the goals that you need. And the moment you add that to your website, you start seeing the value of it in engagement and leads collected and how many people are viewing your inventory. Imagine you can come and say, I have a lot of old inventory that I want to start getting rid of. We go ahead and program that bot to always leverage cars that have been in stock for more than 200 days, let's say. So that's another value added. You're starting to kind of push old inventory to make room for new inventory, so you can kind of benefit from that as well. That is one side of things. That's the first value. Second value I see is all the data that you gather from the behavior of those people on a Gen AI. Using Gen AI and ML as well, you can leverage all that data into having more optimized performance marketing. And that is one of the solutions that we offer. We get the data of behavior of people on websites. We use that to understand the audience, to build the right personas for your dealership, and to get those people from social media platforms, from any ad platform, right back in, whether you are retargeting or targeting new consumers. And Seez Boost has proven to be amazing at yielding those. We can bring down your cost per click by 50-60%. And we have numbers to back that up. And we can increase the leads you generate. That's another benefit of using Gen AI. So the only thing I would probably say to that person is, give me one day to give you a demo website and we can talk after that.
Thank you so much, Nader. Really appreciate your time. Super, super insightful.
Thank you so much for having me, Fabian.